Binky is such a great character, and he's one of the most complex characters in Arthur. And in the episode What's in a Name, we learn that there's another layer to him. This is the second segment in the 7th episode of the 15th season of Arthur, and we find out what Binky's real name is. I'm not going to say what his real name is, but if you don't want to know until you watch the episode, avoid IMDb, because it does tell you. But we learn what his real name is, and he's a bit annoyed by this because he doesn't see himself as that name and he doesn't want to be that name. But his mother tells him this story about how this name came to be and why they decided on this name, and also why he ended up being called Binky, which is I thought was a nice aside. And I really like the concept of Binky having this other layer, and of course the title What's in a Name I think is always thought provoking. I do not believe a rose by any other name would smell as sweet. I don't, because we judge things based on their name, whether we'd like to admit it or not. And that's kind of something that we see with Binky's initial apprehension about his real name, because he's worried people will judge him for what the name is. Of course, Binky would still be the same person, but would he be? I don't know. It's something that's a debate as old as time. But personally, no, I don't think a rose by any other name would smell as sweet, because I think society would treat you different with a different name. Or at least some people would treat you differently with a different name, and that could form who you are. For example, if Binky was known by this other name, some people might bully him for this name, and that might make him have a different outlook. Binky might not be so much of a tough customer himself if he'd been bullied from a young age, because some people who are bullied from a young age become bullies. Some of them campaign against bullying. So it could have completely changed who Binky is as a person if he had a different name. And it's always a really interesting concept. Anything where Binky is the protagonist tends to work really well. I always really thoroughly enjoy his episodes because there are so many layers to the character. And, it's always just so fun trying to unravel yet another mystery surrounding Binky and who Binky Barnes really is. What's in a Name is a really great episode. Loved how the narrative developed. Definitely one that I really thoroughly enjoyed.